We have a question from the dear sister Diana Perez from Venezuela. What does Sister Diana Perez say? She says, "Hello, Sheikh. I hope you are well. Alhamdulillah, thank God we are well. Can you recount what Zainab, the sister of Imam Hussein, did after Ashura? What did she dedicate the rest of her life to?" Very well, very good question. The sister of Imam Hussein, the esteemed Zainab, who is famous as a super intelligent woman, was indeed very wise. So what happened to her? The first thing she did was save the only son of Imam Hussein, who was Imam Zain al-Abidin. On that day, he was ill and could not go to the battle because he had a fever that made him bedridden. Therefore, Imam Zain al-Abidin stayed in the tent when they came to kill. The only survivor of Imam Hussein's family, who was Imam Zain al-Abidin, who was 25 years old, Zainab, defended herself. She defended her nephew, Imam Zain al-Abidin, and said, "If you want to kill him, you must first kill me." Among the Arabs, it was considered very shameful to kill a woman in war. This means it was a trait of cowards. And everyone was a witness, so they could not kill Zainab. Zainab defending Imam Zain al-Abidin. That is the first masterpiece that Zainab created. She defended the last survivor of the Prophet's family, Zain and Muhammad. In Karbala, Muhammad was 2 to 3 years old. Imam Zain al-Abidin was about 25 years old. Thus the lineage of the Prophet was cut off thanks to Zainab. Then the entire family of Imam Hussein, who were prisoners in the prison, were chained and taken as war prisoners, including all those children. Some historians say there were about 200 to 300 children in that caravan, because there were around 100 men, 72 to 100 men, each with their family. So each family had 2 or 3 children. 100 men typically have about 300 children. Then it says that there were around 300 and something, and from that same number of women, about 100 women or more. So that entire caravan of about 400, or 300 children and women, they all were taken as prisoners, and Zainab was the one who comforted everyone. It means it was like the person who raised the flag of Imam Hussein. So when they arrived at the palace of the first corrupt one, who was Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, the governor of Kufa in Iraq, they wanted to kill Imam Zain al-Abidin and the survivor of Imam Hussein as well. Zainab defended. They wanted to take the daughters of Imam Hussein as sexual slaves. Zainab did not allow it. Zainab resisted with great courage and bravery. She had the same character of bravery as Imam Hussein. Zainab was like Imam Hussein, but in the body of a woman. Thus, the continuity of Imam Hussein's revolution was due to Zainab. So, when they arrived in Damascus and Syria, Yazid also wanted to disrespect the family of the Prophet and intended to kill Imam Zain al-Abidin. There, Zainab also defended Imam Zain al-Abidin. She did not allow them to kill Imam Zain al-Abidin, nor did she permit them to harm the daughters of Imam Hussein, but she grew old. In such a way, so much pressure and trauma aged Zainab that when she arrived in Medina, her husband could not recognize her. He says, "Who are you?" She says, "I am your wife, Zainab, but so aged, so broken is that woman. My wife was young." Zainab was about 55 years old. She was a young woman. That is to say, at 55, she was young then. She was so hurt, so broken. That is to say, so traumatized Zainab, so aged Zainab. All the hair of a woman. Zainab was dressed in white, so pained and so withered that her husband could not recognize her. When Zainab and the mother of Abbas, or Molbanin, who is a wise woman and a poet, arrive, both women begin to awaken the community. They begin to recount the story of Imam Hussein with tears. That is to say, when they are going to continue commemorating Imam Hussein, Zainab and her husband will emigrate to Damascus. The Shias of Syria and Lebanon exist thanks to Zainab. Her husband, who was very rich, invited many people. In Damascus, where they were enemies of al-Bayt, Zainab began to sow love for al-Bayt in their hearts, commemorating the mourning of Imam Hussein in Syria, in Damascus. And there is the tomb of Zainab, the sanctuary of Zainab. Zainab is in Syria, in Damascus. So the Shia of Lebanon and Syria exist thanks to Zainab because she commemorated for several years, and there she died, or perhaps she was poisoned. We believe that she was killed, but in a hidden way. She was poisoned because the Umayyads could not tolerate a woman so brave who was awakening everyone against them. So we consider that she was poisoned. In a couple of years, I mean a year and a half, no more, she was killed. So her tomb remains. But what she has sown today is everything you will see. The Shia of Lebanon and Syria are thanks to the excellent Zainab. So we say women always have a role that may be more important than that of men. If it weren't for Zainab, Carvalho de Carvalho tells me that Zainab would not have been a personal poem. And what will they do? The heroic work of Imam Hussein would be forgotten in Karbala if it were not for Zainab. So Zainab was the one who raised the flag of Imam Hussein, and it is thanks to Zainab that we know about Karbala today and we mourn for Imam Hussein. The passion with Zainab,